Oh, hello. I guess I have to go live today because the Queen is dead. So let's get into it. This will be a strange video, but all right. So first off, we have supposedly an official announcement from Buckingham here. The Queen died here at Balmoral, probably ages ago, as we well know. Um, yep, she was 96, but more than likely she was even older than that. Uh, so yeah. And just getting that out there right away. What do we know about the Queen dying? Well, we know some stuff is probably going to happen, but we just have to remember a lot of times these dates come and go, these things come and go. I think one of the most interesting things is right now here on my channel. What if they always hide it from me? Yes, here we are. I think it's fascinating that there was a double rainbow. Look at this. Right over Buckingham Palace when they announced it this morning. And I find this interesting. Whoops, let's take a look at this. This could be what the 3 days ahead of schedule means. Hopefully 9/11 disclosure on Sunday, then EBS and public arrest. Well, we're hoping, and we're hoping the RV happens, or the revaluation of the dollars, because of all the artificially deflated and inflated currency around the world. Oh, yeah, this is the one I find interesting. Here we go. Let's check this out. 1,776 days, or 1776. Okay, wait a second. There's one that explained it a little bit better here. So obviously it's pretty viral right now. It's just going off. The Queen's dead. Oh, well, I guess, well, the other news is poor Steve Bannon has been detained or arrested. I don't know what's going on. And these lunatics are in the background shouting, "Stop destroying America." Steve Bannon, the one guy trying to save what's left of this country. And they're yelling, they're just yelling. It sounds like two people yelling in the background. It's horrible. Of course, the media pins on that. We won't get into that too much. Let's see. Come down. Sorry for this moving around like this. It's like I can never find stuff when I want to. But all right, well, let's just look. Let's just go into my gallery and look at interesting photos that I found. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh man, I was gonna show you guys this sideways shadows from. All right, well, take a look at these. I was trying to. Last night there was this weird effect where the sun was setting, but it's setting, according to the globe, it's setting 93 million miles away. So I'm trying to understand this. It's setting 93 million miles away because supposedly it's going around the Earth, right? So it's going around to the west, away from me. And these clouds are above me, probably about 5 to 10,000 feet away from me in the sky. And the sun was casting sideways shadows across it. I found that weird. And I had a scientist tell me this morning, oh, it's just light diffusion. And even if we're going to consider like flat or a crater Earth, which I consider crater Earth to be viable because it kind of includes flat Earth. I can't see that we're just a flat plane. That doesn't seem to make sense, although there are people who believe that. But so you look at this, and I'll do a video on trying to explain crater Earth because it's a really complicated subject. But just really quickly, crater Earth believes that we live in a giant crater which encompasses our known lands, all the continents that we know or that they tell us about, because there's hidden lands too, but it encompasses all these, the world that we know or they tell us about, and surrounding it, I guess, is this ice wall which hems the water in, and it and then there's other stories about possibly it's constantly freezing, and then maybe there's a dome above us made of pure oxygen. There's land outside those the ice wall, so there's other lands, possibly other domes and other craters, and then there's some weird theory that the sky is the reflection of all these worlds. And I had so I stumbled across that. It was like one guy, and it was pretty interesting. It was hard to, it was hard to ignore, because if you take the sky map and overlay it onto the moon map, it actually, and you adjust it properly to size, it actually all fits. And so are we living, he found that we possibly are if that was the case, that we're living in Sirius A, the dog star, which when overlaid with the moon map is this thing called Sulpicius Gallus M. And so when he brought that crater up to bear, when he magnified, I'll do a whole nother video on this, but I'm trying to do this briefly. It showed this crater that looked like where we live and the ice wall around it. I mean, it's bizarre. I don't know how to explain it, but let's just get back to these photos for a second. The sideways light being cast from clouds, okay, so right there you can see that it's pretty clear across the night sky, or across the sky there, that cloud going up and to the right. Okay, that's fine. But how is it casting the light off to the right? You see that shadow going, or to the left on this, and to the right, actually, if you could see it in the other ones. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Because on flat Earth, in that theory, it includes, in flat Earth is the crater Earth, right? And it includes that there's a local sun. And I've seen videos of a local sun, of a sun-like object in a cloud, basically, and they're flying past it. Okay, yeah, that was a lot. We went from the Queen is dead to that. Does the dome look like this? And definitely the old Tertarian buildings were harvesting that energy. And that's why, around in the old cities, now that they're destroying them, of course, with the horrible people that live there. Not everyone, but, the lawlessness in the big cities. But sometimes when you're next to these old buildings and the temples and stuff and all that work with the ether like this, you get an amazing feeling. And I believe that this is why, because it used to harvest chi energy, and chi energy would revitalize you, make you feel good. Every cell. Now look at these. This is an old, I think these are Russian, possibly, but they wear all this stuff, right? Okay, so here's what some of these things mean, right? I'm an electrician, and I can tell you that this is all pretty valid science here, and you're creating a capacitor harnesses and holds it. Condensers bring it down into what we can use, or in this case, probably understand too, because not only do you get revitalized, you also get a higher intelligence. Oh, right. This is interesting. Okay, so this is 999 South Sepulveda Boulevard. I'm going to jump around in this video. Just having fun today. And Queen's dead, right? Okay, just having fun. This is 999 South Sepulveda. This is 999 North Sepulveda, I believe, in El Segundo. So these two buildings, although they're not close, could possibly be where Al Baalbek talks about a jump gate portal going to some place that he called Mars. That they were, whether it was on the planet of Mars or maybe another crater that's Mars, because remember all those lined up in the crater Earth theory, they all line up in the stars and on the moon map. And now that we have Google Map and Google Star Map, they all line up. And why would they do that? It's super interesting. So maybe you're going outside the crater and going over to Mars, or maybe, maybe it's a planet. Anyway, the crater Earth theory, I was going to just quickly complete that. We live in a crater, maybe possibly inside a dome, hemmed in by an ice wall on a much larger globe, I believe. Although some people believe it's an endless plain, but I find that hard to believe, although I'm open for anything. Anyway, getting back to these two buildings, this is where Al Bebic said that he went through a jump gate, so I just looked it up. So, just weird thing I just share with you right there. Okay, so let's go back to my strange... it's funny, this is part of Crater Earth, too. This is a picture my friend took in New York. This is a sculpture, but it's more than that, because if you look from the top down, it's sort of like this weird sacred architecture that they use, and this has something to do with the pineal gland and the blood-brain barrier. I forget all this. It's really complicated, but if you look down at the cityscape, you'll see that this is in line with something else, and I forget how the story goes, but yeah, it'd be interesting to revisit that. When I do the Crater Earth theory, I'll just touch on this, because this is there for a reason. This isn't just a random sculpture. And even just looking at it, with layman's eyes, you can see that it's some sort of antenna. It's picking up on something. I think they're using free energy already. And they're just not telling us about it. They're probably selling it back to us, Okay, so this is it. Rain. It was 100 degrees and it rained out in Lancaster. Hailed out in Lancaster the other day. Meanwhile, it's 100 degrees. I just thought I'd show that briefly. So we're getting some weird weather out here. We're supposed to rain again in a couple of days, so, this is a cool looking mine entrance. Is it a mine entrance, or is it an entrance into the underground? This is, I believe, in Colorado or Montana somewhere. God, it's my friend took a photo of that. I mean, doesn't that looks so fairy-ish? Looks like a fairy world. Arsenic can come. Okay, so this video is just random. I'm just going through the gallery now. My friend asked me if arsenic could get into the water line, and sure it can from old pipes like that. This is an old drawing showing that they possibly had technology to go underwater. Weird stuff. And, oh yeah, here we go, time travel. Oh, well, this is time travel here. Let's see here. Oh, okay, so this is saying that they used, this is for teleportation. In the investigation, 2 instruments designed by this gentleman, Feskov, it's hard to read, let me see, were used. One of these was a visual photometer of the daytime sky intended for measuring the brightness of the firmament. Okay, this is interesting. Here we go. These are CIA documents that got leaked out that are just buried and stuff. And somebody unearthed this, and in these documents, it was talking about teleportation, but part of the study here shows that they were taking measurements off the firmament. So again, this is why I believe Crater Earth fits all of sort of the models that we have of where we think we are, Some people believe we're on flat Earth, and listen, apparently all the old cultures believe that we were on a flat Earth. And we're taught to believe that sounds crazy these days. I know, I get that. I know how crazy that sounds. People have done strange studies, with like lasers, and they're getting back like weird anomalies. you know, is the moon actually there? Is it a reflection of us, or is it, you know, we know all the models say that the moon, like the normal mainstream will tell us that the moon is just a satellite. Then we start getting, you know, deeper into like, hey, did we even land on the moon? And when we did, we found out it was hollow and run by aliens. You know, there's huge mirrors or lava flows on the moon that have no real that have all kinds of anomalies, and how they would get there, no one can explain through mainstream science. But a couple of theories have been postulated, like perhaps when they were cleaning out and hollowing out the inside of the moon as a tiny planetoid and using it as a machine and flying through space, if we believe all that, right? And that's what these large mirror or like lava fields are of collected lava, the mirrors on the moon. And when they rang the moon, it rang out hollow. They put a bomb. They set a bomb off of the moon. And these are all stories. Whether or not that happened or not, we don't know. There's other people that think the moon is just plasma and that there's no way you can land on that, or a projection in the sky. I tend to think that it is something, but why does the moon reflect our star map, all the stars that we can see? I think that's strange. Okay, well, anyway, let's just look here. I got